I want to thank Annette and Stuart and Henry and Jack for trusting me to come here, trusting me with Mary's story, and letting me be part of this very special event. And I want to thank all of you for being here, for the warmth you've shown me, for the welcome, and for your strength and your vulnerability. Some things you can't imagine. Some things are unthinkable, unsayable. In fact, words like a better place or at peace or even I understand can sometimes be the very worst things. Sometimes the best option out of only bad options is silence. But sometimes silence can be convenient, can be a little comfy, can even be a cop-out. I come from a culture of silence, from many cultures of silence, and many circumstances of silence. So when Annette and Stuart invited me here to honour the life and memory of their daughter, I found myself retreating into my habits of silence. I mean, how could I, an outsider, justify taking up any of this sacred space? Wasn't it better just to stay away, to maintain a respectful silence? I've got 2 kids, one's a daughter. That's part of what I've been doing in 16 years. And I couldn't imagine, or let's be honest, I was too scared to even try to start to imagine. But then I read some of Mary's poetry. I am you and you are me, she says. We are one. And in her words, I saw how Mary had found a way to honour her silence, to honour her darkness, while at the same time speaking through it and shining a light through it. And I was reminded that poetry can do this. And so Mary's poetry challenged me to find the courage to follow her example. So here I am, and here's something. It's part of a longer poem that I wrote for my dear friend Shay, who passed too soon on New Year's Day 7 years ago. Before I start though, just a bit of context. Here's something that I wrote about Shay previously. At school, my best friend was Shay, a bawdy, brainy country boy who had managed to land a spectacular triple scholarship, music, tuition and boarding. He played piano, really played it, concert level played it. I read poetry, and then I wrote it, and then he read it. He was my first real reader, by which I mean he proclaimed my talent as probably the brightest that had ever blazed across any firmament in human history. We were big on ranking talent. Yeats over Keats, Rilke over Rambo, Hopkins over Donne, but only just. We argued intensely when I said Tennyson and he Blake, or maybe it was the other way around. We were oh so serious. We persuaded our lit teacher to accept a joint essay in the form of a duet. Shay at the grand piano, in the gym, riffing off Ravel and Berg, while I stood alongside reciting rip-offs of T.S. Eliot and Ezra Pound. We were not popular. Allergies for Shay Fry. Kubla Shay, dreaming of ancient Egypt, ate his hyacinths and was marvellous. Wherever you are, is what I meant to say. Princeling Shay, wolfling Shay, fish-eyed prodigy, Annabole, brother mine, all beautiful boy. Who'll turn your pages now? The lines unfurled before you in your sleep. Who sets them to song? I cannot. All men have crowns, and every crown can be broken. Were your senses mixed, blood shaking your heart, orange with violet veins? Or did hearing alone stay and go last? Were your nostrils at last unblocked, your ears at last symmetrized? Did you unravel first silence? Did you dream? Wherever you are not your death. You are not your cold body, your subclavian blood, your spine upon the body block that proffers up your organs, your humours pulled with gravity. You are a bed in natron, my friend. You are 40 days, not in a metal slot, but roused into the mirror world, the eastern fields of light. The father sun rayed gentle on the rushes, and not the prosector, but the jackal keeps your stomach, and the falcon your intestines, and your heart remains. Your heart is yours. For you, there are no more tests of heart. My friend, magnificent, across your empty desk, they go on trading base metals and precious gems. They found flint in feldspar caves below the first cataract, where single stones, actioned by wind, can mother a dune. They trade tin south to children of the stars, mix alum with deep red alizarin to dye, to delight them who are yet to learn the violence of such charm. "20 years ago, we were 19 and already elegiac. We were future tensed and annealed. We were quenched in the dark peace of violent histories, Karnak, Babylon, Persepolis, Byzantium, the names alone. Quarry our bones, convey us to Karnak. Our names we preserved, bent to stave and strophe, accomplishing our envy. Gathering our violence, we were altogether desire, only ever all we would be, full of imminence, light first, sun later, staid, asituate, unforgiving. Now you are times, but I say to you, Shay, in full mouth, we will be perfect. There will be a recognition. The skill has left your fingers, the dream your brain pan. But time, too, is prospected by work, the lumen of the vein, the schist afire through the rock. And humans, too, may burn like candles, their spines, wicks, their fever dreams, the sputting flames. Work in the shadows. We will work in the shadows, the rest being the madness. Naughty, naughty boy. Hoard, residuum. Hold to murmur, hold to method. You see, time breaks along its faults, lays bare its jewelled fragments for those who love and work. It gives it all for free. It asks only reversion at the end. And like that end whereof we could not think, thereof no questions asked, you spake and said, my Father. And you answered, here am I, my Son. Oh, tell me, go, you go first. You went first. What reason makes this right? What insupposable value, what excuse but ultimacy, which all know to be the breath of evil? I will build a city for you. Listen, I want to say something to you. You arrived just in time. You told me they're not better than us. You honoured our sin, repaired my will. You were havoc in the trees, the dense, enfolding fire and its fuel at once. White fusion, wild usufruct. Always your mind was the emergency, always severaled, cording the upper and lower, equal and bonded in appetency, bonded always to mine. This is a moment of children. Who cares who sees? Who sees? We scoff at faultless entropy. We strip the pith from the inner stalk. We count to 3. Talk me into it, Daddy. The first rolls were blank. Oxidize this carbon black significance. Heart of water, this red hematite and blue frit, these yellow ochres that every child knows, enflesh the unreal sun. Put it another way, the ink gleams for 3 more words before it and meaning sets. In those 3 beats, I must be 1,000-faced, ontolochied, liable. I must be totally told on. In the middle of my life, a myth, a tidal mouth. I am planted in bitter celery, in the phytolithic matrix, all possible clay. I sense your slow impulsion all around me. Heart's lake, calendula on my fingers, laughter in the morning golded reeds, shaking the papyrus, the scale in the wind that shakes the reeds, Deus abscondicus, the only gossip of the living. I miss you so much. Either we are eternal, with neither end nor beginning, or we are sprung from a single thing and proliferative. In either case, death is not death, though time cannot but give form to suffering. Believe, if you must, as I must, in all things, moment, in each thing, everything. Thank you.